Have you ever changed his diapers?
Yeah, once.
Just once? Just once?
And I almost puked. I'm like, dude, you just had milk. Like, as he grew older, I've washed his butt. And trust me, I'd go to diapers any day. Like,
Why?
dude, you just had your morning shit. And then you have to see someone else's.
Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. Mr. Rahul Menon is here. Rahul Menon, what are you feeling?
I don't know.
Is this your first time on a podcast?
Yeah, it's the first time on a podcast. Usually I'm used to sitting in a conference where there are like 300 people, but you don't see them.
Yeah.
Right? Because floodlights right on you. But yeah, this is cool. I mean, it's so weird because I've not been in a formal setting with you guys. This is...
No, this is not formal. This is informal.
I mean, actually with cameras and stuff. Usually it's him coming with his camera and just throwing it on
Just
your
one
face.
camera. Today I have three.
Yeah, it's just three cameras
Yeah,
not
so-
moving.
But yeah.
So guys, for context, Rahul is my childhood friend, but he was in my childhood. He was already a full-grown adult.
Yeah, I think I met you when you were I mean, I was 19.
You
Oh,
were
you were
19.
19 when you met him for the first time?
Yeah, I think I was 19, 18.
And how old?
It was.
No, I was 17. And you were what, 6?
This is what 2005, 2004.
No, bro, I met you in 2001.
Yeah, 2001 to around
2001.
that time. Yeah, I was like 9.
A very cute boy. So, I mean, you guys know the story, right?
Yeah.
You know the story? You don't know the story.
Which one?
So this little boy comes to the football field. I'm the oldest.
Mm.
So I'm cocky as whatever, right? And then he comes in and he's like, Cheta, can I play? And then everyone's like, no, you can't, you're too small. And I see him and I'm like, but he's a cute kid. And the way he was moving, I was like, maybe he can play. So I let him in. And then, yeah.
And that's the story of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, he was a very cute kid. Aryan I've not met though. I've not seen Aryan.
Even we barely see Aryan. So not much has changed.
I heard he lost 120 rupees today.
So yeah, so I met Rahul I think in 2001. We used to stay in the same building, in some sense, Chakulas,
Yep.
and yeah, that's where we first met on the football field, and then
Yep.
then
And then we met, after that we met 10 years later, 15 years later.
Yeah, we met. I can say the story, right?
You can say that as a story. So we could start with my ex-wife was in love with you.
No, not that story.
What? Excuse me, I don't know this story.
She was a big fan of Sharan.
Ah.
She was a big fan of Sharan.
No, so in Chakulas, it was a community where there were a lot of kids.
You're gonna
growing
tell
up.
that story? That story?
That's
yeah, you can say that
Yeah,
story.
that
Let's
story.
expose those
That's
motherfuckers.
actually a good story.
Yeah, I mean
So-
it's
People
important.
should know.
People should know.
Yeah, so basically, it used to Chakulas used to have a lot of kids, and I was always fond of Rahul because usually the older kids are mean, but Rahul had a nice balance of mean and nice. Just when you think he's too mean, he's suddenly nice, and just when you think he's too nice, he's suddenly mean. And he's
But what kind of mean is he when he's
I could be an ass.
like only on the football field. Like otherwise, he's very
yelling and
sweet.
stuff?
But there were a lot of other older kids. Yeah, there were a lot of other older kids who were just mean. Like they were bullies. They would bully us throughout. And Rahul used to look really different. He used to have like really long hair.
what?
Yeah, always wearing black, and he used to tie his hair
Damn,
up.
You're like a rock.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was like the
well-
rock star.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he
Actually
is
had
a rock
band.
star.
I
Yeah,
had a band. Right, so that's a good life.
yeah.
Dash, drugs, and rock and roll.
Let's talk about that in a minute.
So yeah, so he was one of the good guys who were older, and we were at a Diwali party. This was I think when I was like 12, 13, and I got molested. Basically, there was an uncle who was like he had his hand on my back and he was talking to me about my parents.
You didn't get molested. You were going to. It was getting there. Okay,
I
I'll
think
let you
he
finish.
should know.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you
If he
my
got
side of the story.
molested.
Yeah,
as well. I think
because
that's-
your version will be slightly
yeah.
different. So he put his hand on my back, and then it's normal like an uncle talking to you. And as he was asking me about my parents, I felt like obviously this is an older person who knows my parents, so no harm. So he's talking to me, and it's a very crowded area, a lot of people dancing and stuff. And then his hands keep going down, and finally it's in my pants, like it's grabbing my ass. And I'm like, why the fuck is he asking me about my
right.
parents and grabbing my ass? Like, this is just so weird. Like, is this normal? Like, I'm like, this doesn't feel okay. I should like pull out, but like I was frozen, like I couldn't move. And suddenly there was Batman. One person came and just like it's like pulled me. Hand came out of the ass. Like I went flying. Like literally, it was one pull, and it was Rahul. He looks at me. He's like, "Make sure that never happens to you again." And then he disappeared.
It's really like Batman.
Yeah, literally, there was not even one. He did that, and there were a lot of people. I don't know how many people saw or how many people were noticing. It's not like I saw Rahul. Like I don't remember seeing him at any point of the day that night, like during that party. This was happening. I was like, "Fuck, this is wrong. It feels wrong. I need to pull off." And this is an old drunk uncle,
And
like,
rich.
Rich, yeah.
Rich,
he has
one of
two
those
kids. Two
influential
kids. Like
guys.
one kid is like probably my age. His wife is there. Everybody, Lord, like the whole society community is there. And this happens. Rahul comes, pulls me, looks at me. He says, "Make sure that never happens to you in your life ever again." And then he just disappears.
The other guy didn't see him.
No, he
like
saw
that.
me.
No, he saw you. Yeah, he
Because
saw
I had
you.
a chat with him after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, so ever since after that, funnily enough, I got bullied for this. So all the older like the bully kids who used to be like, "Oh, he's gay. That's why this happened to him," and like this is early 2000s, so
fuck, I didn't know that.
yeah. So they used to bully the fuck out of me, saying this happened to you because this uncle knew that you were gay. That's why it happened to you, and I used to feel damn sad about it. But and after that, I don't think I met Rahul a lot after that. And it's not these are not conversations you have when you're in your early teenage years, right? And then like I think Rahul disappeared. Like after that night, I don't remember seeing him. But I used to always wonder. I used to be like, "Fuck!" And Rahul is such a common name, right?
Yeah.
So I used to always wonder, what is Rahul up to? Like as I was growing up. But like if you search for him on Orkut or Facebook, like there are some 1 million Rahul. So nothing ever
Yeah.
turns up.
So
And
that
his-
was the last time, like you.
Well,
Yeah, that's the last time I remember.
Oh, okay.
And his name on social media is Rahul Narayanan.
Needle in the haystack.
But I remember him as Rahul Menon. Like that's like
Yep.
yeah. So I used to keep searching for Rahul Menon. Nothing pops up. Okay. Then one day, so I used to think about him pretty often, and then I think fast forward 15 years or something, I'm entering French Toast, and now you can take over the story.
Yeah, so that going back to that
Yeah,
party, right?
yeah.
So I was hitting on this girl.
Of course.
Of course, he was hitting on this
Like
girl.
Batman does.
I was trying to get, like I knew something's gonna happen. I had a girlfriend then, but hey, why not? Right? So I'm talking to her and trying to see where this is going, and then I saw this guy look at you. I mean, there are a lot of creepy people
Yeah.
in Chakulas, like a lot of creepy people. I've got into so many fights, right? And then again, I saw him, and he was pushed to the side. At that point, I said, okay,
She
She
can
can
wait.
wait.
yeah, this is something's more important, right? But then after that, I took you, and then I got into a fight much
Yeah?
later. Yeah, I
With
mean,
the-
I
with
was
the
I was a
guy
bit
or-
cuckoo in the head,
Okay.
right? I couldn't stand certain things, like people are so what's the word? I'm not looking for fake, but
Pretentious.
pretentious. Thank you. So that's
We're in sync.
who gets the point here.
Just echoing here.
Yeah, but then after that, I moved, right? I moved out. I mean, I started focusing on music, and then I stopped playing football. And then, eventually I moved out completely. So my dad had this thing that you find 5 jobs, campus placement, you don't have to come back to Dubai.
What were you studying?
I was doing engineering. And I was supposed to be a dropout because I was just totally, I think that's a different topic, but I was always a rebel. I just go against the system. But yeah, and the reason for that is when I was 12, it's happened to me, right? Back in Dubai. So this is why I was like, it should never happen. No matter who the fuck, can I use that kind of language?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
of course.
Right, right. So no matter who the person is, and no matter what you can gain from them, your self-respect is king, right? Because today, I mean, I've seen people step down because they're like, okay, for the bigger goal. But you will hit that goal, but you won't feel good about yourself. And then this comes back to haunt you. Fast forward 15 years. So my ex-wife is a big fan of Sharan. Sharan's become this big thing. And I used to watch his videos. I'm like, the guy's got balls. Right? Because the stuff he does. But I also know it's not the real him. He's this really focused, because that was there. You always like this guy who's focused. So we go to French Toast. And then Nenu's like, Sharan's here. You know him. Go say hi. I'm like, if I go and say hi to him now, he'll think I'm going because he's Sharan Nair. So it doesn't make a difference to me, right? And I just sat. And then suddenly a hand comes from behind. Rahul Cheta.
You call him Chata?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we
that
say.
he should still call me Chata. I don't know why so
Now I
much.
call you
attitude.
fuck you.
I know, dude. Chata. Well, I prefer Rahul Eta.
Okay, I'll call you Rahul Letta.
Oh.
You should call me Rahul Uncle. So, Aryan, you can call me Daddy.
I can also call you Daddy.
That'll be creepy then.
For me or you?
Both.
Right response.
So, yeah, then I saw him and then he came. But again, I was trying to keep a distance, right? I didn't want to try too hard because if we're going to be friends, we be friends for who we are, not who you've become. Right? And then this is why every time you had to reach out to me, I was not showing your attitude. It's just that I was giving him space. Like, if we need to be friends, we be friends. We became more than friends, right?
Okay.
That
Now
sounds
we are
bad.
now we are
Wow,
lovers.
that's creepy.
Brother.
brother. I meant brother. Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because I've not met his parents. I just met your dad
For the
days
first
2
time,
days back
yeah.
for the first
What,
time.
for the first time?
Yep.
Oh.
And then he asked me creepy questions like, don't you think my mom's hot?
I've asked
Sharan asked, not Loko Raju.
Yeah, I was like, who's mom?
But if it makes you feel good, I said yes. So,
Did you feel proud?
Yeah, she said yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I met. So I was so happy that day. I was like,
Which year was this once again?
2019, 2018,
no, 2018,
2019, 18.
I think.
Yeah, 2018 end or 19.
Yeah.
So you're meeting after like about 15 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is after like searching for the dude on fucking social media forever, not finding him.
Yeah, so the thing
And
is,
his ID on Instagram used to be owls and paws or something.
Yeah, because
There was no fucking. I forgot he was an uncle by the time, you know.
So-
I remember him as the guitar playing rock star god. But obviously, time had passed. He had a baby, 2 dogs, a family. His Instagram name was owls and paws. And I was like, there was no fucking way I could afford this.
so I never wanted people finding me to start with. And in school, my name was Rahul Menon. I went to college, and the second day they came and they were like, "Hey, you're a Menon. We're the Nair community." And at that point, my passport renewal was happening. So I told Amma, "Can I change my name to Rahul Narayanan?" Right? Because I don't want anybody knowing this. I didn't know Narayanan is worse. Because now people thought I'm Tamil Brahmin.
Oh.
But that is, it's still ambiguous, I feel like. It's still a name.
Yeah, but when
Narayan.
you're having beef and parota, it kind of sucks, right? So that's happening. And I had a Christian roommate and a Muslim roommate. 3 people who don't believe in, like, the Muslim doesn't fast. So in Ramadan, we are fasting to prove a point. He does not eat beef. And then, so it's kind of fun.
But what is your take on religion right now? Like, are you religious?
Am I religious? So I gotta be careful here, right? So no,
No, it's just
not
your
careful.
opinion. It's just your
I don't
opinion.
give a shit what people think. So for me, religion
You care what
is,
God thinks.
Yeah, look, I'm
Which one?
so. You know, when you go through so much shit in life, you start thinking, are you in the matrix? You start believing in yourself, right? Is there religion? I don't think there's religion because all religions are pretty similar. Is there a God? Possibly. But I'm not the kind who's going to... I've done it. I've climbed Paranimala. I've gone to Shabrimala. I've done Shaina Pradarshanam. I mean, that's to keep my mom happy. So with time, I realized I'm doing all this to see that smile on my mom's face, right? I do accept the lessons you get from religion. I think that's great. But would I sacrifice everything in my life for religion? No, not happening.
Are you guys religious? You guys go to temples, church?
No, so I was also similar to you. I was brought up in a very religious house. Like, till maybe 6th grade, at like 6 o'clock, I would light the lamp, say the prayers and all that. Like, I was brought up like that. But eventually, I just realized again, like you said, I'm scared into doing, like, it's like a fear factor.
Right,
Like,
you
if you
won't do
don't do
evil,
this,
right.
something bad will happen
Yeah.
to you. It's always like based on a fear aspect. So I was like, if I am not fully doing this for myself, why am I forced to do this? So like it kind of eventually stopped. And my parents initially, like when I stopped going to the temple and stuff, initially they were like, oh, why don't you this thing? But that kind of, they wouldn't force me after a point.
It
so
phased out.
It phased out. And also I had a really bad experience in a temple. Like again, I was molested when I was a child. So that also really shook the whole
Yeah.
faith thing. So it kind of stopped. But I do believe in like a higher power. I don't know if it's a god or whatever
Right.
it is. Like I find myself praying to something, like, you know.
So that's interesting. So I think that was the starting point. I used to pray a lot before exams, and then I used to go for these Gita classes.
Yeah, yeah,
Right, where as a kid you would sit, you'd read the Bhagavad Gita,
yeah.
and then you say a story. And the story I was saying was about this child who prayed before his exams, and then he said he would give like 10 laddus or modaks or something. I don't remember the story fully. And then he was writing the exam, and he finished the paper, and he's like, I'm getting 100 out of 100. And then he's making a list of all the rituals he'll do in the temple, and then he started discounting it. He's like, does God really need this? Does he need 10 laddus? Maybe make it 5, stuff like that. So I read that story, and then eventually failed the paper because he forgot there were 3 other pages. But so this was when I was like 10, 12 years old. Ever since, before an exam, I would not pray. I would pray, but my prayer is different. The prayer I was asked to say, but then again, a lot of prayers, right? So one prayer we had every day was math tables. So me and my sister had to recite the math tables all the way from 1 to 14. Right? That was like de facto. And then you pray. But I stopped praying for stuff.
Yeah, you generally pray,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, so I would just stand there and look at, so we had this huge Krishna idol.
Yeah.
But again, my mom has a lot of influence. So we had, I used to go to church back in Dubai. I've been to a mosque, right? And for me, I would go, will I go to a busy temple? No. Because people are just aggressive.
Yeah.
I would go to the Shiva temple when it's empty. I like it, right? Because it's peace. Or I would rather...
It also depends on the temple, no? Like
Yeah, the
Guruvayur
vibe.
now, it feels like a very business center.
It's a mall.
Dude, that's what, like...
It's a mall without AC,
Yeah.
right?
Dude, that's the thing.
So
No, I'm sorry, but like initially I used to like the
it's
place
Wonderla.
as a child. Now you know how railway stations have like announcements.
Yes.
They have the similar
they have the same.
announcement.
No, see, the thing is,
I mean-
I am religious, but my biggest problem, like I recently saw a video as well. Like I've always felt this, especially I have not felt this in a church, and I've not really been to a mosque, even though I want to. But in temples, especially, like if you're somebody important, it's like going to a club.
That's a very good point.
It's like going to a fucking club. If you genuinely believe in God, and if this God exists in this, in this temple, how can you, differentiate between who's rich and poor?
Yeah,
Like there's
they
a
bar
billionaire,
people.
there's a billionaire coming, so like half the
Yeah.
people are not allowed to enter. They're all supposed to wait
Yeah.
while the billionaire and their family is supposed
Yeah.
to pray. There's recently a video where that
The Ambani.
The Lal Bagh Cha
the
Raja.
Lal Bagh temple where there's a separate line for VIPs, and VIPs can pray for however long they want. They
Right.
have enough.
Yeah.
They need to stop praying.
We need to
while
pray for
while
more
the
money.
rest of the people, bro, they literally get 1 second on the, like they have the deity.
and
You have to put your
you're
head.
supposed to like put your forehead on Ganesha's leg. You can see a person push them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
Guruvayur
had that.
also
I
just-
float.
they
I was
pull you
floating.
off.
I
They
literally went like this
literally-
in Guruvayur.
Yeah, and literally there's a line, and on this side, like Shilpa Shetty is like put her head on the deity, and like she's become a part of the god.
So
Like how is it? Like you stop taking it seriously? Like I love praying to God, but like this just feels like a joke to me.
I
like,
mean, I've seen it firsthand. So my mom used to get annoyed with my father. My father's father was a priest in a temple, and he used to use that what we call vasta influence.
yeah.
So
yeah.
we could bypass lines in Guruvayur.
Mm.
But my mom used to get really. My parents are very religious. They're very religious. But my dad likes to find the easy way. You've seen him, right? He likes it. But my mom would make us stand in line for like 7 hours. Right, the thing is, after you finish all this and you reach in front, you're just happy it's over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that anticipation, everything that you were waiting for is just like, okay, it's done
Yep.
now. We go.
But then I think it's important to believe in something, because when shit hits the fan, you need something to fall back
Yeah.
on, right? You need that, like, okay, so God saved me, but unknowingly you just get this energy from inside, and then you're ready to push yourself.
That's the thing. So
Right.
I feel like it's some kind of energy. I
Right.
wouldn't call it God or like
I
me
got it, yeah.
personally.
Like I believe in God, but like going to a temple or any religious
It just-
this thing, it just feels like.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this thing where I'd gone for a mass once with one of my friends, church, and they give you like this wine thing which you're supposed to put in your mouth.
Yeah,
And some of my other Christian friends found out that I put that in my mouth, and they're like, "How the fuck could you?" Like,
the same happened to
yeah,
me, because you're
that is
supposed to do communion and then
yeah. I'm like, bro, it's just wine.
But-
just chill
but
out,
I made
man.
it worse.
Wait, what happened? What's
So
the
there's
problem?
this.
It's
You're not supposed to be
Only
unless
Christians are
you're
supposed to do it.
If
Yeah.
you've not had the communion, you're not supposed to have the bread.
Oh,
But
okay.
It's bread, but I put it in my mouth.
Oh, it's bread, yeah.
Well,
Is
it's
that
termed
circle
bread.
thing?
It's
Yeah.
termed
Yeah,
bread.
it's wine and bread. Yeah.
And I put it, and I didn't know what's happening. The priest gave it to me. I put it in my mouth, and I'm like, "Hey, wafer."
Yeah, it's very wafer thin. Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
circle.
Yeah. It just
I've
melts in
had
your
that.
mouth. Yeah,
I've had that.
yeah, exactly.
So apparently, we're not supposed to unless you've had baptism,
No,
right? Or
Holy
communion.
Communion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
but
priest was. I told him. I mean, I apologized. I didn't know, but he was like, "It's fine."
Yeah, of
Right.
course. Yeah, it's not like you're committing a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, plus I didn't know,
knowingly.
but I felt bad about it
Yeah.
because you don't disrespect.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, but that's what
right?
it's. Your intent wasn't
Yeah.
to disrespect. You had no idea.
I just went with the flow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
I'm not very religious, and I've grown up in an environment where my parents aren't very religious. I'm, in fact, probably the most religious amongst us four. But in like the religion that I do follow, it's honestly it's mostly very scientific.
Okay, so Scientology.
No, no, like I'm a Jain.
Okay.
Scientology, I wouldn't be.
Wait, isn't that what Tom Cruise
Yeah,
is in?
yeah.
Tom Cruise
No.
and Shamali.
No, but it's pretty cool, huh? It's pretty cool.
It's a bit questionable.
Yeah, why is it questionable? Why is it
It's
cool?
a cult.
Oh, yeah?
It's a
based
cult.
I mean,
on-
every religion is a cult.
It is.
Yeah,
But,
but
this
this
is
is
like it's insane
extreme.
how like people religiously follow it and like it's. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So in our religion, Jains, we basically the main like rule is to live and let live. Okay, so there's no imposition that you have to do anything. It's just like if you feel like doing it, you do it. So when I was in Bombay, I had more access to temples around me because
Right.
Jain temples are more like prominent over there. So I would go.
You can't eat anything that's below the ground.
Yeah,
Right?
I like
Below the ground,
technically.
above the ground, inside the
No,
ground,
so it's
outside the ground.
below the ground because there are insects and our
Right.
religion believes in not harming living beings. So you don't like if you uproot something, the probability of you killing an insect, etc., is high. So that's the science behind it. But anyway, so I did have access to more temples over there, and I did end up going, and I felt really good every time I entered a temple. I felt really good. Then I realized it's because it's marble. So marble is inherently cooling.
Right.
So that's why you feel like more fresh. Then we've also got something like you guys have like Sabrimala
Yeah.
and Guruvayur and all of that. We also have like places which are prominent for Jains to visit at least once in your life.
Okay.
Everybody comes back saying, "Oh, we feel so good. We feel so energetic. We feel so like, God has touched us." But again, to me, it's just like, okay, you hike up to a place which is on a mountain, you're going to feel good.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know, it's adrenaline, right? At the end of
Right.
the day.
And it's the journey.
So, it's the
It's the
journey.
whole experience. let's
Yeah.
put it that way. Right.
So, I mean, that is how I view the religion. I'm not someone who believes that if you do, if you pray like 10 times a day, good things will happen. It's just you follow what you can follow and you
If
try
you pray
to.
11 times, good things happen.
Oh, I got the number wrong.
People stop at 10.
That's my problem. Yeah.
I had this funny thing. So when I was a kid, I used to see this thing about meditation and then God comes down. So I said, I did my research and I heard Shiva's the easiest to piss off, but Shiva's also the easiest to please.
Dude, I love him.
Yeah,
I'm such a
which
Shiva
the
fan.
anime version?
Every version.
He doesn't have abs. I checked.
I don't care. He has a snake. That's all I care about.
He has two.
Oh my
Oh
God.
I
my
didn't-
God.
I back away
I'm
from
Hindu,
this
I can.
conversation. Take
can.
whatever you want.
Like, let the hate come. I'm Hindu. Right? But no, so I did this research that Shiva's the easiest to piss off, but also easiest to please.
Please, yes.
So I said, I'm going to meditate,
Mm.
right, and get his blessing. I didn't realize that meditation's like 100 to 100 years. Right? I thought I could get like superpowers.
Mm.
I mean, that was my first wish,
Yeah.
right? Alter minds.
What's your superpower, bro?
Right now, it's purely
I really want to know what he says.
He's already riled up a group. Let's move on to the next group.
yeah. We call ourselves the Seamen.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
X-Men.
Jesus Christ.
So.
You
Just,
go on
just
this-
remember, Sidhu's going to be watching this.
Oh, Sidhu is programmed. He's good.
Okay.
Sidhu,
Yeah,
Sidhu
he's
is
getting
Rahul's
there.
son, by the way.
Yeah,
He's-
so
how old is he?
He's 9.
How does it feel being a father?
You know,
Well,
actually, it's cool. So my first son was Ichigo, the golden retriever,
Mm.
12 years old now. He was my first baby, my first interaction to a child,
Mm.
right, of fatherhood. But the day Sid was born, Yeah, it was a lot of stress, right?
What kind of
like people,
stress?
like when people say that your life changes, like in that moment you feel the happiest. Is that what you felt?
No, for me it was exactly the opposite.
You felt
So
sad seeing him.
I got stressed.
Oh, okay.
Like I saw him and I'm like,
But what about seeing him stressed you out? Like
no,
what
his future,
factor? Okay.
right? His future. I've always, so my ex-wife, her father passed away when she was really young, so I know her story, and her mom's story when her father passed away. So I had taken an oath that if I die tomorrow, my family should be okay, right? So I lived 14 years of my marriage with that mindset. I mean, since I met her. So I was constantly just working and trying to save money and try build an infrastructure that
Yeah,
if something happens to me,
they'll be okay.
they just have to worry about me not existing, but not money, right? So I had, I mean, I would sit with her on weekend and this was the conversation. You need to know this because if something happens, this is the game plan. So I started building assets based on that. I never used to go clubbing when I was 22. I was doing part-time jobs. I was working. I was saving money. I bought my first house when I was 24, 25. And then when Sid was born, I bought the second house.
Oh, nice.
In like a week after, I decided, okay, let me buy something in Bangalore. So if he wants to party, he has a place there, right? But yeah, so right then the divorce happened, and now I'm thinking, do I need my posh career in black?
No, but like how new parents. So like in your case, as like when
So
you
the first 3
became-
months, advice to all those new fathers, right? The first 3 months is very frustrating because the kid does not know you exist, and the mother does not have time for the father or the husband. You just have to live
Like
through
be
it.
a fly on the wall.
You just
Yeah,
have to go
you-
clubbing basically.
You feel like shit. You
Really?
feel like super shit because you're a nobody. Your job is to just help. But then it pays off, right? When it's like, when they start moving around 5 months, 6 months, oh my God, it's amazing.
But when was like your first, oh my God, I'm a father moment? Like what you were just saying.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him, everything just came to me. I'm like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this?
Have you ever changed his diapers?
Yeah, once.
Just once? Just once?
Or a strong, independent man.
Oh shit. And I almost puked. I'm like, dude, you just had milk. Like,
How is this becoming milk?
no, but it's funny. So this is his diaper, but as he grew older, I have washed his butt. And trust me, I'd go to diapers any day. Like,
Why?
dude, you just had your morning shit. And then you have to see someone else's.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But now it's cool. So now he has his own, when he stays with me, he has his own washroom.
I'm assuming, yeah, bro. He's
Yeah, he's
9 years old.
I mean, because he walks in with the iPad, I go in with my phone. So I got a Bluetooth speaker for him in case he wants to play music, right? But yeah, no, I would. Fatherhood is an experience.
Like
Yeah.
you would recommend?
If you want, yeah. I mean,
If you want.
If you want, I can understand.
Look,
You don't have to
so-
take permission from
so
you.
a lot of
but-
people become fathers because it's not by they want to be fathers. It's because
Like
okay.
the next stage.
The
well,
next
it's,
step in
it's,
the-
it's society, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a father, but I did know Nenu wanted to be a mother. That was her dream. Like when we first met, I asked her what's her dream. She said she wants to be a mother. My dreams were completely different. I had career goals. I had a lot of dreams, right? I need so many homes. I need this. I need that. But so I was forced into it. Let's put it that way. And it turned out good, right? I mean, Sid's a great kid. So, but there are fathers who regret it. And there are also mothers who regret it.
They regret having the child.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think because your life is altered
so
completely.
I know a couple of people who didn't want to be mothers. They were forced into it, and it reflects on the child a lot. So my advice is,
Like
if you,
reflects on the child how?
Because you're
Because-
there's a
like-
lot of negativity, and there's a lot of lack of care. So Sid turned out the way he is because Nenu was a great mom. She was phenomenal, right? And I would say that she's just amazing as a mother. Because I was never home. I was always working or traveling for work. But yeah. And then, so what I used to do with him is just teach him math all the time. So Aryan had, yesterday we had this discussion with Aryan. So after the divorce, We were walking, and he just looked. So we're having this conversation on math, and I keep. So this is what we do, right? He says, "I want to use the iPad." Okay, so let me take a step back. What me and Sid do, we make a list of things that we want to do for the day. So I make a list of 5 things, and then he makes a list of 5 things, and then we choose 5 from the whole list. He gets a +1 always, right? But then it would be something like, I want to play video games with Dada, and then we watch anime, and then I want iPad for like 6 hours. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you 4 hours, provided you walk 10K with me. So we go for a walk, and in that walk is where we talk, right? So we were talking about math. I was trying to teach him the cheat code to multiples of 11, and he's like, "Why do I need math?" And I'm like, "Math is the solution to everything." And then, so we're walking, and he was just behind me, and he's like, "If math is the solution to everything, explain the divorce." And my heart rate is, yep,
Who's my
it's
new hero?
120 now. I mean, I can relive that. I still remember that experience. I was walking, and I'm like,
You started running. You ran away from him.
no, I just took him.
I'll solve this.
Is this how you talk to your father? So I just stood still, and I was walking really slow, and I'm like, how do I answer this? But then it made sense. So it's math again, equations, right? So I was like, okay, so let's break it down. Let's start writing equations. I still remember the place. It's Greens in Dubai. It's near the lake. And I'm like, okay, let's equation 1. Let's look at Amma. Amma loves you, X value, 100%. Was it the same as before? So before the divorce, did she love you 100%? He's like, yes. Does she love you 100%? Yes. Did she have time for you before the divorce? Yes. Does she have time now? Yes. Now that's equation 1, right? Now let's look at equation 2. Before the divorce, did Dada have time for you? He's like, no. Because I used to wake up at, what I realized is he wakes up at 4, and I used to wake up at 6, go to work at 7:30. So to spend, then I'm back home by
He
10.
wakes up at 4 a.m.
When he was a baby.
Oh, okay.
So I started waking up at 4 so I can play with him. But then not play, he would sit on my lap. He was tiny, and I'd be working. So that's how much time I spent with him. And then he wouldn't see me. By the time I'm home,
He's asleep.
the whole family's asleep, right? It's just me. And so one of the reasons if things weren't working for me. So I was like, before that, that was the case. After the divorce, does Dada spend time with you? He's like, yes. Because the minute he's with me, I don't care about the world, right? I don't care if there's work. I don't care about anything. I might not even pick my phone, right? But it's 100% with him. So I said, that's equation 2. And then he's like, math does solve everything, right? Not really math,
Yeah, but
but I had to prove a point. So
I won.
So you made whatever equation.
yeah,
wait, I have a question. Have you when we were growing up, parenthood was very different, right? Like
Yep.
it was extremely different. So are there things that your parents have like sort of said to you or done with you that you said you'll never do as a parent, but you've done now with Sid?
no. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's actually the opposite. Whatever my parents, I wish they hadn't done, I make sure I don't do it with Sid. So my parents used to say, if you do this, you get this, right? And it would never happen. So eventually, you know the story. I'm the poor son of a rich dad. Right? So I stopped taking money from dad. I didn't have cash. I had 10 rupees on me. I was studying here. And one of the reasons the band helped me, so we started making money from it. But I used to sell Airtel recharge coupons to kind of get money. My hostel was cheap. And I've got typhoid, I've got cholera from that hostel because I had no place to stay when I had the Chakulas apartment. Right? So stuff like that. But with Sid, I like to push him to the limit. I don't want his life being easy. One thing that when I was a kid, my parents did make our lives easy. Right? I'd like him to try. Right? I want him to believe in himself. So that goes a long way. But again,
How
and
do you make his life hard though? Like what do you mean by that? When you ask for iPad for 6 hours, you say 1 hour only.
He says
see,
no
better
10K
than that is
walk.
make him walk 10 kilometers, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So the pain, and now he looks forward to it. In fact, it's funny because he's realized that he needs that physical activity as well.
Yeah.
But everything has to be earned.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But there's a
yeah.
cheat code. He knows it. He just has to come and give me a kiss, and my heart just like, come, baby, let's go. I've cut off his food supply once. that was
He's a rock.
that was bad because he
Okay,
wasn't.
okay, United States of America. What's up?
You know,
Fuck, I have to apply
I
for visa.
just
Sorry, Yose. You guys are good. Okay.
so why did we look at him?
No, because
No, the camera.
The camera. Okay,
yeah.
I thought we look at Aryan saying sorry. So I did cut off his food supply once, his meal, and it was
Like one meal.
yeah. He wasn't eating on time. He was taking it for granted. So we do have that a lot, where sometimes he takes things for granted, and I don't like it. I think kids. I mean, the new generation parents want to give everything to their child. That's one side, and second side, we're so engulfed in our social circles that we forget about the child.
But in this environment right now, I think feel like it's harder to parent things like this, like showing value of food.
So he
stuff like
no
that.
now he sees two individuals. You talk about our situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. He sees two individuals now. I think he's realized it. He sees a mother who's strong. He sees a father who's chill, right? I mean, Nenu's a strong person, and with me, it's like there are rules. Like this is funny. So he does not listen to Nenu on a lot of things, right? So school's at 7. He wakes up at 6:30 after Nenu forcing him to wake up. With me at 5 o'clock, he's up. So Nenu's like, "Why do you do this?" He's like, "Amma, you would give me one whack and it's over, right? Dad'll lecture me for an hour. I will actually lecture him. So I would never raise my hand on him. But hey, I can talk, buddy. 9 p.m. yesterday. Da 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 da.
When I was your age.
Okay,
Yes, that always happens.
Okay, the very important question to you as a father: what if your son Sid is gay? If he turns out to be gay, would you have a problem?
No.
Correct answer.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, if he wants a
What if he's making out with the boy in front of you?
look, as long as I don't watch them sucking each other, I think I'm okay. I'm like, but no, I
How
don't.
can they suck each other off, bro? One
Can
at
we
a
not
time.
talk about kids doing
Not
this?
kids.
Not
I
kids.
mean-
He's talking about like when they're
Sit
adults
down.
or
Okay,
something.
okay.
I'm like,
Oh,
at least lock the
Jesus.
door. I taught you how to lock the door. No, I wouldn't have an issue.
Imagine Rahul walks in full lecture. How many times have I told you, Sid, lock the door, Sid?
Sid, you're doing it
They
wrong.
they both are half naked.
You're doing it wrong. And why aren't you doing anything?
Yeah, why does my son have to do everything?
I know.
He's a bottom?
So
Poor
yeah,
Sidhu.
you'd
Yeah.
absolutely be cool with it.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter, right? I mean, you
Love
have
is love.
no. Actually, I'd rather have him be nice to people rather than be that idiot in Chakulas,
Yeah.
for example. Right? You don't. As long as he's not a pedophile,
Yeah.
then it's a different story, right? That's not acceptable. Or a guy who just sleeps around. I mean, mutual is fine, but not mutual. What's the word?
Consent.
Consent.
Consensual, right? But otherwise, I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, it's not my life.
Yeah.
It's not my choice, right? Some people like chicken. Some people like beef. Like,
Some
Makes
people like
sense.
chicken and beef.
and as long as I'm sure that I know I'm straight,
Okay.
and, yeah. So I mean, I've met a couple of people who are not sure. That's a message to the world.
Where was that going?
No,
Yeah,
we have this thing where because Rahul's been in our videos and like he has an open account, it seems that a lot of guys who continuously hit on him.
Which is fine. I mean, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who have actually approached me in Dubai and try to convince me.
That you're
Oh,
gay.
they
Convince you that you're not straight?
No, they want to make out with me. And you know, the worst part is when that happened,
How does
I
it
realized
convince
what
you?
a girl goes through when guys keep hitting on them.
Like coercing and
it's
all
like
that.
the persistent.
So, look, as a guy, I don't know it, right? I've not had a girl come and persist. And again, I'm a guy, so I would look at, like, okay, does it make sense or whatever. But when this guy came and started pushing it, forcing me, begging me, right? And the thing is, I quit drinking last year, right? Like after I got into all this endurance things, he was drunk. So this went on, and I was standing there, and I'm just thinking in my head. So this is what girls go through. It's disgusting, right? And if I have a message is, guys, if she says no, just that's it.
No is no, yeah.
No is no, just walk away, right? I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that sentence shouldn't have a but. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I was going to say something else. I got distracted with his lips.
Yeah.
With
Who
my
isn't?
lips.
Just fat
Who
lips.
isn't?
Okay. Have you had the sex talk with Sid?
Which said no.
Do you intend to?
It's never come up, so
Are you going to?
yeah, that's going to be very weird. I don't know what to tell him.
Why? It's important.
But have you
You've saved
thought about?
someone growing up, so it's
Yeah, you
something
saved
you.
my ass, bro.
Ah,
Literally saved my
so
ass.
so that no, we've kind of trained
He
him
didn't get the joke.
Yeah.
Did you save my ass?
literally. But no, we've had that with him that no one's allowed to touch him.
Good touch, bad touch.
Yeah, yeah. There's no good touch, bad touch. There's no touch,
No.
right?
Shit, I
And-
hugged Sid when I saw him.
No, no. I mean, above the body. I mean, that's okay. But yeah, okay. I get it. The good touch, bad touch. So no, that's very clear. And if he's uncomfortable, walk away from the situation. No matter
Yeah.
if
Who it
it's
is.
even if it's my dad,
Hmm.
right? You don't. So we never force him to hug. That's one thing I learned from Nenu. Like she's very clear. If he doesn't want to hug, you know how when we were kids, when guests come home, we need to sing, we need to dance, we're forced to give hugs and then give a kiss and stuff like that. No, Sid, no. Well, if he's rude, he's rude, but you don't pay his school fees. I mean, I've got people in social gatherings where they're like, Sid should, the way he's behaving, maybe it's not right. Maybe you should do this. I don't like the advice I'm getting because they don't know what he's going through.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my usual response is, oh, yeah, I'll look into it. By the way, thanks for paying his school fees. Right? Like, fuck you. Right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for people to give advice. Nobody knows what you're dealing with, right? It's all
Correct, correct.
variables.
Yeah.
People are variables. So we had this incident in school where they told me he's could be autistic, right? And I'm like, okay, so which side of the spectrum? Because if you take 100 monkeys, right, as a sample size, 80 of them will show a specific trait, right? And then you'll have 10 show a different trait and 10 a different trait. Now I'm doing it this way because 80, 10, 10.
Correct.
It does not mean what these 10 are doing. It does not mean they are different. I mean, they're different. But just because 80 does that, okay, that could be the curve, right? Like a bell curve. But it does not mean that just because they think he has ADHD, he has to be on the negative side.
Yeah.
He could be on the positive side. I have ADHD. I have hyper focus. But I personally see that as a strength. Right? So I was diagnosed with that. And when I realized I have this, everything made sense. Because I focus on something, I could just go hours. I could go days. You've seen that. I go days without sleeping. Because that's in my head. And I
Yeah.
want to finish the task. He kind of has that, right? But on the good side. So you just need to harness it. The only downside I see is when things don't go the way you want, it starts affecting you internally, right? But no, good touch. Yeah. I mean, I forgot the question.
Have you had the talk with?
Oh yeah, that no, not yet. He's not shown signs. As of now, there's a girl who likes him, and he's like, no.
He's in that I hate girls phase.
Yeah, kind of phase.
Yeah.
And he likes pink, so
Mm.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, we don't. No, I've not had the talk with him. Let him have his first kiss,
Yeah.
right, and then we'll talk. I mean, these days you don't need to have the talk.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information.
other
Dude,
parents-
he's so fucking smart. There's no need.
Yeah.
He's gonna have the talk with you.
Yeah, some other some other
He's like,
parent will
"Dada,
have a talk
stop."
with their child. They're gonna talk to him, and they're gonna watch Pornhub together. So right, they'll figure it out. You've got that.
Yeah.
So I don't think. Yeah, no, not had the talk. Well,
Yeah.
he's 9. I don't think.
Yeah.
so.
Now it's too soon, I feel.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Yeah.
The day he comes with his first cannonball, I used to do that when I was like 9, 10. For some reason, I don't know what's. I think it's a muscle reaction or something. It just goes up. So I used to walk around the house, look at my sister, say, cannonball.
Are you talking about a boner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Well, it looks like a cannon, right? So,
Not for everyone, but okay.
well, yours is different.
Mine is different. Mine is very different.
It's curved up,
Yeah. Down actually.
down.
Out of respect.
No, I've not had that with him. He had depression though.
Sidhu?
Mm.
Is this like
After the divorce, that hit him really hard, and that's why I was down last time for a month with him. But he's very strong now.
How did you see the symptoms in him?
He was just not the Sid he was supposed to be. He's gloomy. He's always reserved. He started getting into fights at school, and the school really helped. They got him a counselor. Oh, they put in a lot of effort.
That's good.
Right.
That's
And
great, actually.
yeah, the school was amazing. But yeah, now he's good. He's good. So
How did you deal with the divorce? What was the?
it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a serious nightmare. So it took me a year to recover. And then what I realized is, so I dated someone after a year for a while, and that also didn't work, right? Because the divorce was a nightmare. Let's start with that. There was this one line in the divorce that I think that hurt me the most. And it came out of anger, where she said, "I'm going to suck you dry of every penny," and I'm like, "But everything's for you," right? So that really hurt me, and then I became alone. So the only way I could survive that was, so I used to, okay, I know we joke about this, but I went into severe depression, but at work I was normal. So no one really knew I was going through a
what was
divorce.
happening, yeah.
And I made it a point not to talk to people. So the thing with depression is it's a plague, right? When I meet people who are depressed, like I'm not going to say names now. Yesterday we met someone, and I told you he's going through that, right? As a friend, you step in, but again, it's a fine line. So when you're depressed, you attract two kinds of people because you need help, right? You're trying to get help, and either you get a friend who, not a friend, I wouldn't say friends, a person you think is a friend who's also depressed. So now you cry together, you curse the world together, right? You're each support for each other. Then on the other side, there's this person who feeds off your grief. They're having a bad life, but they see you're so miserable, they start smiling inside. It's like someone once came and said you should give charity. I mean, we had this conversation. I'm like, charity is a selfish move because when you do something nice, you feel good, right? It's good to do charity, you're helping someone, but it's a selfish move as well. I acknowledge it. So started realizing this, and then again there was another side of me. I don't want to take my depression to people. I had two friends who were really genuine. They wanted to help me, but again, I'm giving out so much negative energy, it'll start affecting them. Like we had a conversation, and then I realized that shit, I'm pushing this onto them. It will manifest in a way of
They're
something.
also kind of carrying your grief
Yep.
in
I
the
mean,
process
just
of
when you
helping.
start
Yeah.
helping someone, it affects you,
Yeah, yeah, for
right?
sure.
It's just the way it is. It's like if you take care of a person who has fever, it's just a matter of time before you get the fever.
Correct, yeah.
Period. So I went into solitude. I would I started doing some crazy experiments in my head. I tried to figure out the formula, right? So one of the first, again, the yellow chair. So I would switch off the lights. Uh, I would sit alone at home on this yellow chair with all the lights off. I can't see anything. It's pitch black, and I would let my mind run. And I'm constantly contemplating, should I stay alive? And I had some really dark thoughts. I had thoughts like, if I die, it's not my problem. It's my parents' problem. It's someone else's problem. So then I would immediately be like, but if I die, what would Sid do? He needs money. And then again, this other Rahul comes and says, who gives a fuck? So I've always been in school, I was known to be that guy who doesn't give a fuck in Chakulas. But then I thought I was a guy who does not give a fuck. But I did care, right? I see a puppy, hey, come here with me. But I eventually became this person who actually didn't give a fuck. It was not fun. Uh, so I made this formula in my head. I love formulas. I love math. And eventually I came up. So all these thoughts are coming, and I'm like, okay, x plus y equals z. That was when I started recovering. I said, let's move on. So x is your past experiences. Y is your current state of mind, equals zen, your level of zen. So you can't change the past. It's done.
Yeah.
But you can change the only variable, that's what you are today.
Current state of life.
And that will decide what you are. So that's when I moved out of home. I finally stepped out and I said, okay. And I buried myself in work. So 2022, we had one of the best years, right? We were supposed to grow the business by 25% over plan. We grew it by 80 because monster mode. Plus, another thing was binary, right? We had that chat. Did I have the chat with you, the binary thing?
Just-
No, it was a Tessa.
Ah.
It was a Tessa. Tessa said the ride is scary. I said life is binary. What's the worst that'll happen? You'll die. So I started thinking in those lines, right? So I said, okay, let me go skydiving. What's the worst that'll happen? I'll die. So one thing I did was when I felt like crying, I would take my cycle and just ride. And then I'm not shy to say this, right? I would cry a lot, but I would cry on the bike alone. And then eventually your body gives up. So I've had situations where I couldn't walk after the ride and I had to find a way back home. I would go cycling at 12:31 in the afternoon with 2 bottles of water and do a 100K ride. I would die at 80 kilometers. I'd be literally riding like this because I can't, my body's not moving,
Yeah.
right? But then I catch a fever and I'm good 2 days. So more like hammering myself. But yeah, divorce is not fun. Now here's the other side to it. I don't regret it because now I feel like 14 years I was caged trying to fulfill someone else's dream. And now I don't need to do that anymore. I have responsibilities. I have 3 kids. I mean,
Ichiko's
2 dogs and
yeah.
Itchy's the human. Itchy's my human baby. Sid is half human, half monster. It's really funny when you, in a professional environment, they ask you, do you have kids? I'm like, yes, I have 3 kids. First one is human. His name is Ichigo. He's a golden retriever. Second one is half human, half monster. Sid. Third one's a full-blown asshole. Right? But he's the cutest. He's the cutest.
But then, like, what was like? Obviously, depression was. I mean, divorce was the cause of the depression. But what was like pulling you down? Like, what was the?
I think so. It's a lot to do with society as well, right?
Yeah.
Again, without saying names, a friend of ours had an issue, and not the friend you're thinking of, right? We just met him like 2 days back. But people think a divorce is bad because most of them are like, what will society think? You think you failed. You think, oh, he's divorced or she's divorced. Somehow people kind of say, okay, you're divorced, so hey, minus 10 points. No, there's no difference to it, right? So just because you realize things are not working out, my parents, they said you have to compromise. That's what our parents say. But that's the old thought, right? Why do you need to compromise? If you're not compatible, save it before it gets worse.
Yeah, and there are certain things you can't compromise on.
You can't compromise,
Yeah, there
right?
are some non-negotiables which you'll have definitely.
But the thing is, if you end it before it gets nasty, then at least, okay, when you have a child,
Yeah.
right? So today we are able to take care of Sid
Hmm.
because I know couples who don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then they have this child who's a yo-yo. So that way I'm fortunate that that didn't happen. Again, because she's a great mother, right? I'll always come back to that. That's the only reason that we are Sid's in a good environment
Yeah.
comparatively.
Yeah.
But do you think in this current generation there are a lot of couples who stay married but they're fucking unhappy?
Look, my generation,
Yeah.
right? For the record, I'm 40. So I'm 10 years older than you all, right? And Tessa's the baby, right? So our generation still tries. There's a lot of, what's infidelity? Is that the word?
Yeah, yeah.
For cheating,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot happening. I know couples, right? That's happening. But as long as you can keep a home, then it's fine. If you can hide it, it's home. But most times it's not. Your generation, no.
Yeah, I feel like our generation, nobody tries.
And no, it doesn't make sense to try. I mean, what do you mean try, right?
No, so like my belief is that, like I said, like you'll have a certain set of non-negotiables. Beyond that, if it's an issue, it is something that can be worked upon. But you can't, because every relationship is a work in progress, right? And I'm not just saying your better half. It could be like a relationship with your parents, with your siblings, with your aunts, uncles, whoever. It's a work in progress. More so when it's someone who's not blood related, right? With blood, at least you're like, oh, I was born into this, so I have that, at least like that thread all across. But with someone you are associating with outside of your own family, I feel like there is more work involved because it's not just you and that person. It's also like the
Their
people that
family,
come
yeah.
with that
You're
person.
acquiring another family altogether also, whether you choose to keep a distance with them or not.
Yeah. So for me, it's like you will have certain principles you won't let go of, but there are certain things that you can sort of give in.
But when you're dating someone for so long, eventually you know what their principles are, right?
I mean,
feel
yeah,
like
you would assume that. Sometimes that's also not the case.
So here's
So
here's the biggest issue that I see, right? It's communication.
communication is, yeah,
And it's
massive.
I think one of the reasons, I mean, a simple fact, right? I have dedicated everything for this one person and family, but I don't think it was communicated correctly.
Hmm.
So when I come from work, and I'm a very aggressive person, right? Intense, I would say intense, not aggressive, very intense. And I'm every psychometric test I've done, I'm intense. But sometimes this intensity is just too much. Like if I start something, and I've seen that on Sharan,
Yeah.
right? It's funny. Oh, let me just throw that line in. So it's funny how, because I've known him for so long, this is a message to everyone, right? So everyone's like, he's born into money.
Mm.
You're not. I know that, right? So when I see these
That's a lie,
comments,
guys. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah,
I'm
I
fucking.
see this
I'm so
comment.
poor
rich.
as fuck.
The most privileged person I know.
so when I see that, so there are times when I think I should reply, but then I'm like, no, it's his fight.
Mm.
But people assume just because you've done something. Uh, I know this is completely off topic, but I just want to throw it there. I don't know why, but I think it was the whole communication thing. Uh, Couples don't communicate. Let's put it that way. It solves a lot of issues. But is it easy? No, it's just not. Because especially I can talk for myself. When I was married, I'm trying to do something. When I became a father, I'm looking at a bigger goal. I'm trying to align my goals to that. But and then you start just getting, it's this vicious circle where you start going. I was told I would not change, right? And I believe in that. People are like rubber bands. You can stretch, I will change, and then you release and it comes back. But I also learned that if there's a really compelling factor, you will stretch enough that that rubber band loses elasticity and takes a new form.
Mm.
Just that my counterpart didn't believe that I would change. Now I've changed, but that's now, I'm not going back, right? And neither is she coming. So I hope people don't need that extreme compelling factor called divorce to realize what they've lost on, right? I've heard horror stories. That's one side. See, every relationship has the good and bad. It's how you decide to weigh the balance, right? We are so tuned to looking at the bad things. The good memories come it's after you break up, you start thinking about the good
Yeah.
memories. Till then, you're thinking about the bad memories. And it's not just, marriage is overrated. You just need to, and this is something I realized after the divorce. You need to get married only for two reasons: tax evasion, if you're in Europe and stuff, right? Because family, income. And the second is to have a child
Yeah.
and have the paperwork in place.
Yeah.
I don't pay tax, right? Because I'm NRI and I have my son. Do I need to get married anymore? No.
Yeah.
For what? To again divide my wealth by X? I don't need to get married. What I need is a companion. If you not looking for kids, don't get married.
And for that, you
And
don't need to be
and
married.
why? No, why? That's the most important thing. Because marriage, once you're legally bound, uh, you, even if you're frustrated, you're like, no, I can't get this divorce. So there are two options. Should we work on the marriage? That's option one. Option two is suck it up, right? I'm going to stay in this marriage. I'm going to do what I feel like. Now the other person's getting irritated, right? I will do what, it's my way or the highway. And then you have two people in a house that
Just, yeah.
that are living on the good memories, but inside it's all just chaos, right? Now when you're dating or you have a companion, that person can walk away the next day, right? So there's fear. If that person walks away, you could go get them back, and there's no paperwork, there's no lawyers, there's no families. So if I break up with Sharan, right, let's say we break up, but tomorrow I realize, hey, okay, let me just keep a simple example. A friend, right? We have a problem. 2 days later, I realize it's my mistake. I call and say sorry, but it's over. In a marriage, when that happens, by then the mom-in-law is there, or the lawyer's there, or there's ego, and
Because by then, everything is so escalated.
it's escalated and just
Fair enough, but now you're in this situation, how does it feel dating again after like a gap of 14, 15 years? Not yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? For me, my first priority is Sid. That I will not compromise. So that's my first priority. I'm not looking for just flings, and I'm not even on a dating website. I'm not on any of the dating websites. Like someone once asked me, "Are you on Tinder or Bumble?" I said no, but I'm on Strava, right? And Garmin Connect. So if you want to see my stats, right? No, I date? No, I prefer being organic. So I meet someone casually, right? And then it just builds from there.
And they obviously have to have that equation with Sid as well.
Yeah, I mean, they need to understand that I'm
Yeah.
a father first,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to compromise on that.
Yeah.
I've decided.
Father first, daddy second.
Yeah. Sugar daddy.
Quotes to
with-
go by. That should be your, if you ever get on a dating app, that should be your bio.
daddy
Father first, daddy second.
So for me,
Dude, you're
it's
gonna get so many women like that. It's crazy. Fuck.
So for
Should
me,
we create
it's,
a dating account for you?
a what?
Should we create a dating account for you?
Well,
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not going to pay the subscription.
There's no
I'll
subscription,
pay the
bro.
subscription. I just want to
No,
see.
please don't.
No, we
So-
there are certain like 99%.
Oh, I was on Tinder though. I was on Tinder.
Yeah?
It was so funny. So I started a Tinder account. I did that to. So Bumble had just gone IPO. Was it Bumble? Yeah. Bumble went IPO. I saw the stock go up. I want to understand the algorithm. So I started a Tinder account.
For the algorithm, you went on Bumble.
No,
huh?
here's,
For
here's
research
no,
purposes.
Tinder,
Yeah, bro.
Tinder. I'll tell you why, not Bumble, because the girl has to like you in Bumble, right?
Yeah.
Tinder is open. And my photo was my cycle. And I started getting likes. Right? So I
Who
started.
are these people?
Yeah, they were hookers. Right?
Oh my
So
god.
that's when I realized, okay, Tinder's messed up. But I kind of figured out how the algorithm works. I had a pic. They liked my cycle. Right?
Exactly.
But Tinder's fucked. Like Tinder has a lot
Yeah,
of-
and it was my Scott, not the Cervelo. If it was the S5, yes. If I see a pic of an S5, I'll be
He's,
like,
he's talking in cycle
Guys,
now.
guys, yeah, he's
These are
really into
all
cycling.
cycle,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are cycling cycles.
Cycling cycles.
Cycling
So, in
cycles.
case you are not understanding, it's because you shouldn't understand.
Well, I'm not into cycles. I like running more, but I'm an injured runner, so I cycle. No,
Yeah.
so that's how I got off, right? Endurance. So I decided I'll do Ironman, and I started training for it. I realized I suck even more than I thought. So
I actually wanted to ask you, because you've gone through this process, which you said was a nightmare, and I've known you for the past year now, and I know like you sort of channel that energy towards a hobby. So how much has a hobby like played
I-
in getting you out
I
of?
wouldn't call it hobby. No, I understand what you're saying, but deep inside it was not a hobby.
Okay.
Deep inside, I wanted to understand who I really am. When do I give up? That was the goal. I want to understand when is it that I will say I can't do this anymore.
Basically
Right.
testing your limits.
This is the Rahul from 20 years ago. So this is one thing I did. It was so in my mind I visualized stuff. So I was lying down. I had insomnia, so I was hardly sleeping, but I was flipping through so in years I can still see it in my head. I'm like, which Rahul should I be? And then I said, okay, so I've had depression in the past. Drugs got me through it. Right. This time I'm not doing that. So I quit drinking and I said, let's be that Rahul who was into sports, right? Who would do crazy stuff, who'd go climb mountains, who'd
Yeah.
trek and stuff like that. And then I got into endurance and I realized, oh my God. So that's one thing I say. I was an alcoholic for 3 months, right? So after the divorce, when the separation happened, I was an alcoholic for three months till one night I got hammered. I drank whiskey. I had a bottle of gin, and I'm told I was disgusting. Like I couldn't stand straight. It's that bad. Next morning I quit. After that, didn't want to drink anymore. But yeah, I mean now I'm on a self-discovery. Right now I know my thresholds, and I'm very proud about it. Right, I know like okay, if I put my mind to something, I know when to stop. I think that's also important. But I think that's the healthy way. So I had this chat with mom. Mom was worried about me a long time back. So she said, you're cycling a lot. at these weird hours. I used to send her photos.
Yeah.
Half the cycling videos that I post, only the recent ones is just having fun. But most of them were I'm sending mom. Right? I would tell her I'm going for a ride. Uh, but she's like, why are you doing this? And I said, I have two options. I can follow the path of depression or follow the path of discipline. You should be happy because I'm a really lazy, disciplined person. Right? I saw this post on this, and I am that. I'm super lazy. So if I don't have goals, I'm done. I need to have crazy goals. I need to have financial goals. I need to have these goals. I need to be entertained. Right? So
But as a person who's lived for 40 years, do you think life gets better?
yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. Here's one thing. My biggest regret is if I could just do what I'm doing 20 years ago. That realization for you're not a generation, but your age, right? Your age group. I literally have 20 years of physical health left. And I know it, right? 40 to 60. That's my last bracket of physical health. After which, God knows what's going to happen, right? Uh, I didn't make use of that 30 to 40 as much as I wanted to. I made full use of 15 to 25. I've exploited my body. I've got screws, I've got replacements and all of that. But I did have fun in the process. But 25 to 35, I was chasing money, career, which is bullshit. You know, when you start your career, you're like, I want to be the vice president. I want to be this. I want to be that. The difference is when you're on top of a mountain, you have the view and you're like, you did it. And I've done good in my career, right? I've reached not reached where I wanted to, but I know it's a good place to be. And it's, right? I mean, yeah, it's cool. So you sit in a conference and you say, yes, I am this, right? Yeah, if you want to feed your ego, it feels good. But are you happy? No, I'd rather say I did a 100-kilometer ride with a friend at 30 kilometers an hour and I pushed, right? So I ride with a very close friend. We became close through cycling. He was a colleague. He pulls. I'm behind him most of the time. But I think that joy is different. Goals are different. Money is good to have, don't get me wrong. You need money.
I mean, I feel like you need money to even enjoy certain
You need
things.
fuck you money.
Yeah, fuck you money.
Yeah,
Right?
you can't buy your Scoralamella and Malamalella if you don't have money, bro.
Pinarello.
That one.
Cervello. Right. No, you need money.
Modelos.
Money is fun to have. You should be like, I'm not buying the Carrera now because it's my dream car, but I'll buy the Corvette instead.
Yeah.
Right?
I think my fun is just missing money right now.
No, but there's a difference, right? But different people, different things. I have a lot of shoes, but I wear Toms. When I met him in Dubai, I was wearing a Tone t-shirt. I just don't care what people think. But I think that's my age, right? And I love my Garmin.
Yeah, so many nice watches. He wears a fucking Garmin and walks around.
So
Terrible guy. Just terrible choice.
no, I have this one watch I wear as a constant reminder that money isn't everything. Then there's one watch I just wear it because it reminds me I'm an idiot. Someone calls you for the premiere of Top Gun, doesn't mean you go and buy a watch and fund the bloody movie. She said it's 768 pieces in the world. I said, aha. And then she's like, this is limited edition and it comes with 40 which is my size. I said, cool. So I'll take one. I was so stupid. Yeah. I think that purchase sped up the divorce paperwork. Nenu was so pissed when I walked in with the watch. I mean, every week I'm walking with something. And I'm an ass. I'll walk in and I'll leave the price tag of the bike on it.
Yeah.
Like
Can't justify
when you
that.
spend half of your rent on that, on a bike.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching this episode.
It was
Don't
a
go.
very
Don't go cycling if you're depressed.
You should go cycling. If you're depressed. You should run, cycle, swim. Not in the sea.
Wait, do you feel really good about yourself because like other 40-year-olds are like Oompa Loompas?
Yeah. Okay. So over there.
Yeah, I know he loves talking about this way.
So I love it. Right? I love being in shape. The only annoying part is when 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds think I'm in their age group.
But that's a
But
good
how
thing.
is
That's a
that annoying?
compliment.
Yeah.
So when you're at work and the interns call you for a smoke, and
You should just go to hear what they're talking about.
Yeah.
and that's what I did.
Uh,
Because I'm an ass, right? So I went to them and I'm standing and they're like, which university? And I'm like, yeah, I did my master's in Wollongong, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, which batch? So I'm like, I was born in 85. Then they look at me. I'm like, you see that cabinet? Yeah, that's where I sit.
But don't you like that feeling like?
Yeah, I love
you?
it. I love it. I love it. So I keep a little bit white so people now.
But what about, okay, that's when you meet young people. When you meet your same age group,
Oh, yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's not fun. They have their own life.
mm.
I hope everybody gets in shape. Look, there are people my age group who are super fit, right? Super fit.
dude, Indian guys almost never.
Yeah, I saw some. They're just people and their lives, right?
Mm.
Like, there's no point looking good if you're. Everyone's got something.
Yeah,
Right?
you don't know what's
You don't.
happening in their
You don't
life,
know what
yeah.
you have. You're busy looking at someone else's life. You forget what you have, right? I've seen that. So sometimes it's like, hey, I want his lifestyle. I want his money. And then you forget that that person does not have a child. You have that. What really matters? Like when I'm solo, but when I see my son. But to your question, I feel awesome. And I think I'm still not there where I want to be.
Okay.
I want to make Adi jealous. That's my new goal.
Adi is Adit.
Adit, yeah. So I met him yesterday. I like the guy, but now he's... And Rahul KP, yeah. He inspired me. Something about him.
Okay, guys. Thanks for watching this
But
episode.
more importantly...
Shut the fuck up! I'm
More
trying to end this episode,
More
man.
importantly, I look forward to being Sharan. He's my role model.
Yeah, that's it. That's our time.
That's
guys.
what you wanted to
that's
hear,
what I
right?
wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Finally, bro, I told you in the first part of the episode to say this.
I kept that for the bedroom.
Oh, better. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and always remember: father first, daddy second.
Sugar daddy time.